from the station working for you. This is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
It's a snowy Sunday across central Indiana, but it is not stopping people from getting out and enjoying the Circle City today. Thanks so much for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Nicole Griffin. With events like Disney on Ice and a cheer competition in downtown Indy, businesses are getting a much needed boost this weekend. For one business, it was the best weekend business-wise it has seen since the pandemic began. Wednesday marked the first time since the pandemic started paying spectators were welcomed back into Bankers Life Fieldhouse. The Circle City also hosted a national cheerleading competition this weekend as well. A year ago this month, Sauce on the Side, which sits directly across from Bankers Life Fieldhouse, opened its doors. The owner says to-go, curbside, and takeout got them through the pandemic, but he's excited more and more people are headed back downtown.
This has been an exciting week, I think. I think any person you talk to that operates from a business standpoint, at any business standpoint, that deals with, general public is super excited about everything that's been going on down here.
The owner of Sauce on the Side says he hopes he can continue ramping up business as the year goes on. He is looking at hiring additional staff to help as more events are planned for downtown Indy. Let's get the latest numbers showing the pandemic's impact on Indiana. Another 3,228 Hoosiers have been diagnosed with the coronavirus. The state health department also reported 24 more deaths. The total number now stands at 8,936. Since March, more than 590,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for COVID-19, and more than 6.4 million tests have been administered in Indiana. The U.S. death toll is now approaching 400,000, according to Johns Hopkins University. Los Angeles is now the first county in the country to reach a staggering 1 million confirmed COVID-19 cases. This as vaccine rollouts continue to move slower than expected. ABC's Zoreen Shaw has the latest.
Tonight, the race to vaccinate sputtering along, demand outweighing supply across the country. Hundreds of would-be recipients in Houston sent home, disappointed after appointments were overbooked at this vaccination mega site.
There is not enough supply for the demand when everybody is wanting the vaccine right now.
Similar scenes unfolding coast to coast. Only 12 million doses have been administered of the 31 million distributed.
I looked and all the options were full.
California considered one of the worst in the nation when it comes to vaccinations. Iconic Dodger Stadium now a mass vaccination center. Ahead of the inauguration, the Biden team promising change. Incoming CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky on CBS's Face the Nation.
We are confident that we have enough vaccine for the 100 million doses over the next 100 days. That is what the president-elect has promised. It will be a hefty lift, but we have it in us to do that.
The shots cannot come soon enough, with that highly contagious UK variant of COVID-19 spreading across the country. Hospitals are overrun and healthcare workers overwhelmed. In California, more than 500 people are dying daily. In Georgia, one medical center's ICU at 200% capacity.
We're having to treat patients in the hallways and also in the ambulances.
And at some Nashville hospitals, ICU capacity is down to 11%. Zoreen Shaw, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Zoreen, thank you. And tonight, more than 296,000 Hoosiers have received their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. We were there today as a doctor from Riley Hospital for Children brought her elderly parents in to get their first dose. Dr. Amy Wilson cares for children with kidney disorders at the hospital. When the vaccine first became available last month, she quickly signed up to protect herself and her patients. Meanwhile, she's been worried for her parents. Both are in their 70s. When the vaccine opened for their age group this week, or last week rather, she urged them to sign up.
It was incredibly exciting. It also represents a huge weight off of my shoulders. We who are physicians know all too well what this disease can be.
I mean, when they said that they had the vaccines and we're going to get approval, it was like, finally, like there's something, it's going to end. And getting the shot today is just, I'm going to cry.
Dr. Wilson says her parents originally had an appointment closer to their home in Lebanon, but it was not until February. A good reminder tonight, if you haven't scheduled your vaccine appointment, you can get registered at any location convenient for you outside of the county you live in. The pandemic is continuing to cause a strain on organizations that rely on volunteers. Tonight, the United Way tells WRTV nearly 100% of the human service organizations they help say their volunteer force has been cut dramatically. That is why the United Way is urging Hoosiers to find a way to give back and improve your community tomorrow on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. You can visit their online portal, volunteercentralindiana.org, where you'll find both in-person and virtual opportunities. They range from helping the Northside Food Pantry deliver food to trunks, or even helping transport Hoosiers with disabilities from New Hope of Indiana. You can also donate to Horizon House, where they help those experiencing homelessness. Right now, they are in need of blankets, winter clothes, and basic household items.
We're living still this pandemic like everybody is, and we're not to the end of the line yet. So I can't emphasize enough the need in our community, and everything from community centers to childcare centers to food pantries, transportation issues, senior citizens, just getting connected to senior citizens in this time when everything is locked down and quarantined. There are so many different ways you can be involved in someone's life to help them.
The United Way of Central Indiana says MLK Day is a great day of service, but they urge Hoosiers to get involved well beyond tomorrow as the pandemic continues to impact those in need. Now to your forecast tonight. This is video I took earlier today up in Fishers around 3 p.m. scraping the snow off the car, just kind of wiping it off there. Kyle, this was my husband's car. I wanted to surprise him. Yes. So I get some brownie points tonight, but that was the snow that just stacked up, from last night.
Well, brownie points and hopefully some dinner this evening, right? That's coming your way. All right. Well, yeah, it was that heavier wet snow. It didn't add up to a whole lot out there today because it melted a lot as it made it down to the ground. But you can see that we've still got some snow showers making their way through around Bloomington, Nashville, into Greencastle, especially along I-70 here, southern portions of Putnam County near the airport. Then we've got a few more light snow showers for you into Greensburg and around Connorsville this evening. Any additional accumulations will be very light, probably under a half an inch. But now that the sun has gone down, we may see that accumulate a little bit, some isolated slick spots out there. But we will quickly see those snow showers coming to an end. Temperatures have been hovering around the freezing mark throughout the day, and that's still where we are right now. Indy at 31. We'll keep those temperatures in the upper 20s as those snow showers come to an end this evening.
Kyle, thank you. And right now, Metro Police detectives are looking for 2 suspects after a man was fatally shot in a gas station parking lot earlier this morning. Take a close look at these surveillance photos of the suspects. The shooting happened just before 3 a.m. at a Marathon gas station near South Keystone and East Troy Avenues. Investigators say the 2 suspects tried to rob 2 males in the parking lot and fatally shot one of them when they resisted. Both suspects then left the gas station in a light-colored 4-door sedan with tinted windows. The identity of the man who was shot and killed has not been released. Call Metro Police homicide detectives tonight if you have any information on this case. Security in Washington, D.C. has reached a historic level ahead of President-elect Biden's inauguration. Despite ongoing threats, officials are determined to see this event go on without a hitch. That story when the news at 6 continues.
Order ahead in the Meyer app.
The nation remains on high alert just days ahead of the historic inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden. The FBI warning of substantial danger to law enforcement, political leaders, and the general public on the heels of the Capitol Hill riots. ABC's Rena Roy now with the measures authorities are taking coast to coast as more arrests continue.
Across the country, authorities taking no chances. At least 10 states activating their National Guards, Kentucky shutting down its capital, plexiglass going up in Boston. The FBI receiving information about pro-Trump groups calling for the storming of government buildings on Inauguration Day. Michigan legislators suspending session this week because of credible threats.
Law enforcement officials are working together to ensure that we don't see a repeat of those dangerous, illegal, and disgraceful action.
The United States Postal Service temporarily removing mailboxes in at least 17 states plus the nation's capital. And up to 25,000 National Guard troops will be on the ground there by Wednesday.
Our mission here is to protect our people and our property, and so we're going to do everything to make sure that they're successful.
Police arresting a woman at a D.C. checkpoint who they say claimed to be law enforcement and part of the presidential cabinet. They also took a 22-year-old Virginia man spotted with a holstered Glock pistol into custody. The Biden team on high alert.
We are in a volatile time. We're preparing for any scenario that should arise after noon on January the 20th.
This as new details emerge from the Capitol Hill riots. Sources telling ABC News Dominic Pizzola of Rochester, New York, accused of smashing that Capitol window, allegedly had plans to kill Vice President Mike Pence and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. He's now in custody, along with Tim Giannett, a far-right media personality of Texas who calls himself Baked Alaska, allegedly spotted on video inside the Capitol chanting, "Patriots are in control." There are at least 300 open investigations, the faces of suspected rioters plastered around D.C., with the FBI asking the public to come forward with any tips that could lead to more arrests. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
With the inauguration of Joe Biden now just 3 days away, the FBI and local police agencies are monitoring reports there may be protests at state capitals across the country. Around the State House downtown, no parking signs are now up, and the state government complex will be closed to the public Tuesday and Wednesday, and the General Assembly will not be in session on those days. The governor's office says there have been no credible threats against the State House. The Postal Service has also sealed some mailboxes in that immediate area. Kyle.
Well, get used to those clouds because we are going to hold on to them a little while longer. But fortunately, we're about to say so long to those snow showers out there. Right now, it's 31 in Indy. It does feel like 21, though. That west wind is dropping the wind chills by about 10 degrees. So if you are heading out this evening, layer up. Still reporting some of those snow showers in the Bloomington area. And you can see that continues to pinwheel through. Would include Nashville, and that's going to be moving back into Columbus and also into portions of southern Putnam and Hendricks counties. And also as we work our way toward Connorsville and south of Richmond, there are a few snow showers, but there's finally kind of the back edge of this system back into Illinois. So a few flurries, isolated snow showers for the rest of this evening. But as we get into tomorrow morning, I do think we're going to be dry, but there are those clouds and pretty steady temperatures into the middle and upper 20s for us, right around 27 degrees. The cloud cover not going anywhere here on Monday. I don't think we'll see much in the way of any breaks of sunshine out there. May see a few flurries, but no accumulations during the day on Monday as the most of this energy has all passed off toward the east. We look at that cloudy forecast. Temperatures, they're not going to move a whole lot here. We're at 28 at noon, only getting into the lower 30s, so we'll keep that seasonable chill going for us. Still a little breezy as we go into the afternoon, so we'll have wind chills in the teens and 20s tomorrow. Your high 33 in Columbus and Lafayette, 31 in the Muncie area. Now tomorrow night, there is yet another chance for snow in parts of central Indiana. Not everyone's going to get in on this one. You notice, though, as we go after midnight tomorrow night, see some of those snow showers developing here around Sullivan into Bloomington, Columbus, Seymour, and Bedford. Best chance of seeing some snow with this system. Maybe a few flurries, isolated snow showers a little closer to I-70, but that snow potential with this one generally an inch or less, and I do think we'll see this one add up a little bit more than what we had over the weekend because it will be falling during the overnight hours. Temperature is going to be a little bit colder, and we won't have that sun even though it's been blocked by the cloud cover. Here's a look at that forecast as we go through the next few days. Temperatures getting into the middle 30s for highs Tuesday and Wednesday. Briefly we warm up to 43 on Thursday. Much of the week ahead is going to be pretty quiet, but we do get colder heading into next weekend, and by Sunday a chance for some rain and snow showers and a high of 35. Stay with us. We'll be right back here on the news at 6.
YourChevy.com.
With the House voting last week in favor of a second impeachment of President Trump, a vote on removing the president from office now heads to the Senate. Maya Rodriguez turned to a constitutional expert to find out how this process will unfold with only a few days left in Trump's presidency.
After hours of debate,
we are debating this historic measure at an actual crime scene, and we wouldn't be here
if it weren't for the President of the United States.
The House, with several Republicans joining Democrats, voted in favor of impeaching President Donald Trump for a second time. In this case, related to the insurrection at the Capitol.
It's not a question that's ever been addressed by the Supreme Court.
Caroline Fredrickson is a visiting professor at Georgetown Law and a senior fellow at the Brennan Center for Justice.
There have been a few officials who have been impeached subsequent to leaving office. So there is a precedent for having done it. Neither of those or none of those officials, however, were the president.
But if the Senate votes in favor of removing President Trump from office, could he pardon himself? Fredrickson says that is something the Supreme Court has never addressed either. But
I think the strength of the argument is that no, he may not. The pardon power may be very broad, but it's framed as a grant. You grant a pardon, or the president may grant a pardon, and one doesn't grant oneself something.
But even if the Senate votes for removal, and that's a big if, it doesn't automatically bar President Trump from seeking future federal office.
The Senate would have to convict and then vote again to permanently bar the president from holding office.
And potentially stripping him of post-presidency benefits, such as Secret Service protection or lifetime health care, which would require yet another Senate vote. All steps that would be part of a lengthy process, the one set up more than 2 centuries ago.
I think, it's a moment for us to really take stock of our democracy and assess where it's weak and where we need to strengthen it.
A system of checks and balances tested like never before. In Washington, I'm Maya Rodriguez.
Even if the president is not convicted in the Senate, Congress could potentially vote to bar President Trump from holding future office under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. It is applied to people who have encouraged insurrection against the government. It has only been used once in 1919. We'll be right back here after this break.
Or GX models.
They've put on this play before, but given recent events, the Actors Theater of Indiana believed it needed to be shown again. The theater, that's based out of the Center for Performing Arts in Carmel, will be streaming a play called Alabama Story starting this week. Our Lauren Casey spoke to the co-founder of the theater about why the show is relevant now.
Well, things might be different in Indiana. We have our ways. People stay with their own kind.
I think it's always timely, but what the country is going through right now, it is, I think it's really, really important. And we all think it's very important. It's about, it's about civil rights, equal rights, the banning of books. It's a true story. It takes place in Montgomery, Alabama, 1959. Emily Reed is the librarian, the state librarian there at the Alabama State Library. And a book comes across her desk called The Rabbit's Wedding by Garth Williams. Anyway, it's about a black rabbit who marries a white rabbit. It's just a children's book, okay? Mm-hmm. But there's a senator, Senator Higgins, has a fit, and he says, this is about black marrying white. The book needs to be banned. He goes as far as to say the book needs to be burned. And so it's a real head-to-head between the senator and Emily Reed.
What do you hope people get out of this? It's obviously a theme that's just kind of been weaving itself through our society over the course of years, and it seems to keep being something we're talking about.
This play is powerful. It's powerful for any time. But now I do hope people, if they didn't see it in our season, I do hope that they do watch it, because it really, the message, of hate, of people being so ignorant. And then you have the side of, it really is like almost like good and evil, and who will prevail. And you still have this mindset that was down in the South in 1959, that people still have this mindset today.
Well, the streaming performance of Alabama Story premieres tomorrow on the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, and it runs through February 14th. You can get tickets for the show online at the website on your screen. That's atistage.org. A record has just been set for the most expensive Batman comic book to ever be publicly sold. Someone bought a near mint condition issue of Batman #1 for a whopping $2.2 million. The vintage issue was published in 1940. The comic book features the first appearances of the iconic villains, the Joker and Catwoman. It had been in the hands of one collector and his family for more than 40 years. The collector reportedly bought the comic in 1979 for $3,000. So Kyle, quite the profit on that purchase there.
Yeah, I do like some Batman, but I don't have $2 million laying around.
I don't either.
I'll just have to go with those pictures. Our forecast continues with some snow showers this evening.
All right, Kyle, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.